welcome to the Business of Marriage podcast, To Death Do Us Part. I'm Serena Goodman, and this is my partner over here, Mr. Jeff Strange. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How you been?
Oh my God, what a week, right? Hasn't it been a crazy week?
Very crazy.
Yes, but we're ready for this because this is like the highlight of my week.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's one of the highlights of my. I would want to think that spending some time with me would be the highlight of your week, okay? But it's all right. It's all good. So listen, our topic today is, should you contemplate marriage when your mate has already cheated in the relationship? That's a good one, right?
Yes, that's definitely.
We coming right out of the gate with some good ones.
All right,
so
let's
go into it. So what do you think about that? Let's roll. First thing first is, what kind of relationship is it? That's the first thing you got to define. It's like, what kind of relationship is it? Because let's say, for instance, you haven't decided whether or not you're exclusive, and that has to be a conversation, people. Two people have to have that conversation. You don't get to have that conversation with yourself, and you say, "You my man," right? He has to agree to that, right? He got to make sure he get the email, the memo, right?
Yeah, all
is
of
that not important?
Yeah, because he'll be just thinking like this is a booty call with benefits.
Yeah, right? And that happens a lot of times. But what does that conversation look like, right? So because sometimes people don't even know how to have that conversation. They just assume if you were able to spend the night, then that's your man. But that's just because he let you spend the night doesn't make him your man and doesn't make you her man, right? Because now things are changing. It used to be like, women get like emotionally attached, right away. And then,
it's just easily assumed.
Yeah, but now I think the tables are turning. And there are some women who could really engage in activity and may not want to be your woman.
Hey.
Right? So what does that conversation look like? I mean, had that conversation.
Yeah,
before.
I mean,
what does it look like? What you do?
Well, you got to let them know first exactly what your idea of what this relationship is. Because, I mean, it's been my experience, some women would just come out like, so where are we at? And just, huh? We're never prepared for that, of course.
Where are we at?
Where we at? Like, what are we doing? What are we having? What's our purpose for being together is usually the conversation that comes. So, I mean, but I'm the type that if I really want to be with you, I'm going to let you know that. Okay. I don't want to beat around the bush. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Okay. If this is just going to be just a purely sexual relationship, then I'm going to act like it's just a purely sexual relationship.
How long should it take to have that conversation? Okay, so you're dating, you went on a couple of dates. Me personally, I'm always really leery of a guy who after like one date be like, oh, I want to marry you. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't even know my last name yet.
That's scary.
Like, I want to marry you. I want to have a baby. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
What did you do to him to make him do that?
I didn't do anything. I said one date, so I didn't do anything. But you see some people come out the gate because they have their own ideals of what they want out of it.
Yeah.
They don't care if you co-sign it or not.
Well, some people are, naturally aggressive from the door. They just, I've had, people just, like they just date after one time and all of a sudden you just like, you my man. And I'm like we didn't talk about this. It's like, hold up.
Is that aggressive? Or is that aggressive? You think it's aggressive or assertive?
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have that,
you over the head with a club and say, you my man.
Oh yeah, that's that caveman thing there. If you start like this, I like him. And
that's
now,
a whole nother ball game.
Now, the next thing you know, I'm chained to the bed and I don't even know my own damn name no more. Like, no, hell no. Nah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's extreme. But there are times that people... But let me ask you this. Should you be dating with a purpose? Should there be a purpose? Or you just dating to be dating? Because if you're just dating to be dating, that means you're a serial dater, right? That you just... right? You just have...
Everybody's had that phase, where you just want to have fun and just want to go out, hang out, experience different people. But...
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone's had that? Everyone has not had that. Okay, so you said everyone, because I've not had that.
Well,
I have not had a desire.
That's
There's
your
a lot
unique experience.
Of people that I don't ever want to meet and have not met and have no desire to meet.
Well, I mean,
ever.
It was like at a point where, especially in the early days in my 20s, where I just wanted to just go out and just meet people, and just see what happens and everything else, not the whole.
Happens, right?
Yeah, because you got to be adult. The main thing about everything, you have to make that adult decision and have that adult conversation. You don't want to just go assume anything just because, you know, this happened that night and y'all got in bed together and everything just, you know, it shot
Can it
sparks.
happen on the first night? Can somebody
I don't know.
see?
Maybe for some people, not for me.
I have heard stories. I've met some folks, been married for what, 40 years?
Yeah.
They met. I think one couple met in she was in the choir stand. She was in a choir stand and she saw him and she was like, "Oh, that's gonna be my husband."
Yeah.
They date and then they got married and they've been together
Yeah.
40 something years. Like
it's very possible. I've heard a lot of people, you know, have that conversation, and they said like, I knew I was going to marry her before, you know, as soon as I met her. That's a very unique thing. I mean, if you feel that from the beginning, that's
have you ever had that?
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew, you know, you hit your fellas and you be like, yo, I'm gonna bag that tonight.
Oh, that's different. That's a different category.
That's about
We're
the
not
far as
talking
I'm.
about that category. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first part of it is to make sure you have that conversation.
Yes.
What should that conversation, from a man's perspective, what does that conversation look like?
You know,
Being
the wording is
exclusive.
definitely going to be to whomever it fits.
Right.
But it's basically like, look, I've been feeling strongly about you, and I'm really not trying to see nobody else. How do you feel about it?
Oh, okay. That's
You
not
know,
wrong.
and yeah, because like we ain't gonna throw our feelings out there, you know, automatically and just like, hey, girl, look, I love you and everything else, and she'd be like, no, I don't wanna.
Will you be my boyfriend? And you gotta
Yeah, you know, check yes or no.
no.
I got a shirt like that too.
Oh, really?
I got a shirt like that. Said, do you like me? Yes, no, maybe.
Really? What made you buy a shirt like that?
It's funny. Remember, I was like when you was in public school and like a girl liked you and you always passed a note. You like me? Check yes or no, maybe, and everything else. And the girl come back like this, like,
Did you always say
Like-
yes?
no.
Oh, wow.
One message actually came back, not yet. I was like, well, when?
Oh my God! All right, so we gonna let's unpack our question. So now we already established that first you have to have that conversation that you want to be exclusive. You know what I noticed too? I think that conversation looks very different when we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Right? I can speak on that one. Yeah, ain't going past that one. So, you know, but the conversation looks a lot different in each decade.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I'm
does.
saying? Like in the beginning, you're 20, it might look like, you know, hey, how you know, like I'm feeling you, feeling me, blah, 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 whatever, right? But I noticed that when older people, when they have that conversation, they want to hook up real quick. Like they want
Because time is of the essence.
It's
Like, come on, girl, I might die tomorrow.
It's like, listen, let me just hook up like right now.
Yeah, I say, I like you, you like me. Yeah, okay, let's go.
Okay,
You
and
know,
then they just do what they do.
but you know that's still an adult conversation, and an adult decision
Right.
has to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like when we're all in our 20s or whatever, you know, you could be in a room with a girl and like, you know, it may just happen like that. But when you get older, you start making, you know, better choices. You're like, I don't know.
I don't know about that. I've seen
You know,
some older men
you ain't-
made some quick choices, and then they got their old kids out there, so they ain't really consider all their options,
Well,
right? And
yeah.
then they're not really. And then you know you have some older women who their options are somewhat limited, and then they may date younger men, which is fine as long as you keep everything in perspective.
That's what
Right?
it's got to be.
That's what happens is that some things get out of perspective. So now we know that they have to have a conversation about being exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now after you've had that conversation, now we've had this conversation. You express how you felt, woman express how she felt, and then someone cheats. Can you recover from that?
You know,
And should you even think about marriage if it's already happened in a relationship?
that depends on the two individuals that's involved. I mean, a lot of guys, you know, you cheat on me, it's like, all right, I'm done, because I'm all about moving forward and not looking back. Because I've never gone back to one girl that I've stopped dealing with.
Oh, you've never gone back to anyone?
No, it's all about going forward.
Oh.
I mean, there's got to be certain things, you know, that, you know, I have to say, like, it's got to be a certain thing about that particular woman that will make you go back.
Right.
And it don't necessarily have to be the sex or whatever. It could
You
be
gotta do
just
something
special
makes
about
you
her
wanna
that
go
just,
back again for another time.
yeah.
Right. Just
And that's that's been a rarity with
it
me.
usually doesn't work.
Nah.
Because after a while, the same reason that you left the person for the first time is usually the same thing
It's
the
gonna
second
come up.
time.
Yeah, history always repeats itself.
Yeah. Sometimes it works out. So I don't want to be like, spoiled milk with everything. But I just want to say that most of the time, it does not work out. Now,
Yeah.
people can be dating and be exclusive for a long time. So there could be like some other categories there. So if you've been dating someone less than 6 months, and you already started talking about marriage or moving in or whatever, and the person cheats, you catch them cheating. They didn't confess. You caught them cheating.
Yeah.
Should you even think about getting married, or should you say, "What the heck with it? I only put in 6 months of my life."
If you put in 6 months and she's already looking elsewhere, it's like, I'm not going to.
Why gotta be she?
You asking me? I'm not dating
Yeah,
dudes.
but I'm saying, but we're just talking about people. Why did you immediately say you?
You asked me. I like
so
women.
you just were saying as a man that it would have been a woman. I wasn't really talking about
Oh, well,
you.
you have to be specific.
Okay, so he or she, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he or she, right? If it's been 6 months, like cut your losses and bounce.
Yeah, in my opinion, me, yes. Because I'm like,
But sometimes, you know what? I don't know if I want to agree with that, because sometimes in 6 months, if you make that right connection, you could have connected with the person in 6 months more than you could have connected with the wrong person in a year. Some people been in relationships way longer than you should have, and they know already who they are, because sometimes people just stay in it way too long, right? It's way too long. Sometimes 6 days is too long for a wrong man or woman.
Damn.
6 days can be too
you
long.
didn't even make the week.
No, you don't have to make a week. You don't even need a week. When something's wrong
And over
and it's not a
6
good fit, you don't need a lot of time to figure it out,
True.
right? So, if you've been dating this person for a long time, you dated for a couple years, and now you're engaged. Let's say you're engaged now, and you're engaged. Should you just say, "Hey, you cheated. I caught you cheating. Your cell phone. I saw something on social media. Blah blah blah." Should you just say, "You know what? The engagement is off. We're not getting married. The relationship is over."
I guess it really depends on where they're at, how each individual feels. Because I mean, a lot of guys will say, you're a sucker if you stay or whatever like that. But it really depends on how you feel. 'Cause, I mean, me, I'd be like, I'd weigh it out, and then, I would just have to see how to go. I can't really say yes or no
At that particular time. But I don't know. Me, I probably just wouldn't want to get hurt again. I'll probably be just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, see? But sometimes, this is the thing. I happen to think that sometimes good people make bad decisions. And sometimes you can make a bad decision at a particular moment. You shouldn't have to pay for it the rest of your life.
You got that right.
Right? And so sometimes some people can make a bad decision, learn from it, right? And then come back and say, wow, you know what? That's something I never want to do again. That's something I don't want to feel again. I don't want to cause anybody that kind of pain again. And so maybe with that type of mentality and maybe some counseling, then maybe they do have an opportunity, a chance to have a marriage that would be healthy.
And that's, what was it called? Emotional growth.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
It's possible.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't have that.
Well, not in this society, because this society that we live in right now is a very instant society. They want instant oatmeal. They want microwavable food, right? They want the ramen noodles. You put the water in, then the noodles come alive. That's what they want.
Struggle
they
meal.
don't want necessarily to invest in people, because this is not what we're doing right now. People are not investing in people the way they used to.
There's a show called Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
So it's like, and
The first, and I saw a couple of episodes. It was ridiculous.
I don't get it.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, of course not. You don't know nothing about the
I
person.
think maybe one person kind of worked out. But then you listen, because remember, that takes on the concept of the arranged marriages, right?
Yeah.
Where, the family members arrange this marriage and you really never met the person before. Sometimes it works out.
Coming to America.
But what's the chances of that really working out, right?
Yeah, because you got to learn the person. It's not like you just get slammed together. Now y'all both looking at each other like, well, what you want to do? I don't know what you going to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why the business of marriage is so important, right? Because people have to think about things before they sign on the dotted line, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I came up with just thinking about the concept because I had a conversation with my kids and I said, listen, no one is to get married without a prenup. I said that to them. I said, you get married without a prenup, I'm leaving you nothing. Why did I say something like that? Because I know people probably going like, golly, I can't believe she said something that horrible. Well, but no, you know what? I'm a hardworking woman building an empire for my family because I believe in generational wealth. So if I believe in generational wealth, then I have to teach them that they need to pass that money down like those other folks who pass their money down.
Well, in one sense, people could look at it like you're already looking for it to fail because you already have the stipulation just in case. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody looks at it.
That's the business of marriage.
Well, I'm just saying some people is already looking for that. They're like, well, I don't want to know what you got. I don't want anything you got. You're supposed to love me and everything else, and then it don't work out. And they're like, I ain't got no money.
Everybody says, listen, when you get married, and this. Some people just in love with the idea of being married. Right?
Yeah, yep.
They in love with the wedding and the fancy dress and everybody celebrating them for the day. But that marriage is much more than that one day. It's the lifetime that goes on next day. And that's what people have to understand. And they have to think about the entire concept of marriage.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not willing to invest in someone before you marry them, then don't get married. Because you're not going to be willing to invest in them afterwards.
I'm looking at, what's the name? Gary Owens. He's getting divorced now. And that's 20 plus years. The kids are grown now. I mean, I don't know if there was a prenup then, but, he's a well-known comedian. And, he's had his fair share of some movies, but, I don't know.
See? But no one goes into, no one should really go into it with the idea of it not working, but you should treat it like a business. If you want to be able to land on your feet, how many times are you going to not land on your feet? How many men do you know that have been in bad relationships, or women, and your credit's all messed up, right? 50, 60 years old trying to reinvent the wheel.
You got to start again.
You got to start all over again. You got to buy a new television again. You know what I'm saying? So it's something to think about.
I'm going to get this Roku I saw on Amazon.
Before you even think about getting married, you have to look at the entire picture and look at the relationship. And I would advise people to look at the relationship from a person on the outside looking in. And the other thing I'm going to say is be careful of the friends that you ask for advice because people give you advice based on where they are in their life at that moment.
You got that right.
So if they good with their man that particular day, they be like, girl, yeah, you can, y'all, he's all right. He just made a little mistake in his name. But if not.
See, and that's the thing. When you get married, it's about y'all two. Keep your people out of your business. Nobody outside of the home should know what the hell is going on in your house.
Unless it's a DV issue. Everybody wants to know.
A what?
If there's a domestic violence issue.
Oh, I thought you said TV issue. Like, really?
TV.
I thought you said TV.
TV?
like TV.
Really?
It's like, he don't want to watch What's His Name with me. I was going to say like.
I said DV.
Okay.
Well,
if it's a DV issue, you're going to
Well, that's different, but
right.
The people around you should either be your circle or your cage.
Bottom line. If you're going to have positive people that's uplifting you and everything else, fine, then things may go in that direction. But if you got people like, I don't know why you married him, girl, spitting that negative.
But that's going to be, this is what I'm saying. It's going to be based on where they are in their lives.
Yeah.
Right? If a person if a person has a relationship that's unhealthy and they're miserable in it, their advice is usually based on that. Not everyone can give that kind of neutral kind of advice.
Well, we probably had the benefits of older folks, and that's done this and everything else to give you a little bit of advice, that sage advice. You go like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I got some good advice. My mom and my auntie gave me a lot of really, really good advice they told me a lot of good things, and many older women that I met along the way, you know, some that are still there with me, and you know, they've given me some great advice. But if had I not had that, but that's, you know, that's another podcast about, you know, the women, the more mature women in the world being mentors for some of our younger women, and really passing it on instead of trying to compete and see who could wear the tightest spandex. Like when your time is over, your time is over, and you got to, you know, your crown. You still wear your crown, but you wear it with grace and style, right? But you don't try to compete against the young women. That's a whole nother.
I've seen that happen.
Because, you do see that happen. You see mamas and daughters competing with each other, and there's really no comparison.
You don't know how to treat no man. Let me show you.
You're in two different categories. So what about if you happen to get married and the person didn't cheat before marriage, but now you're married and your husband or wife cheats? Can it bounce back from that, or it's just like a done deal? See you later.
It all depends on the egos, the communication. There's a whole lot of factors involved with that. Because, you know, some men, they were like, nah, you cheat on me, that's it, it's done.
It's really interesting with men, right? Because this is just my own view here. With men, when men cheat, sometimes it's like they want to tell the women, just get over it, right? But when a woman cheats, it's like the man is like devastated, like somebody, like he peed on his territory and somebody betrayed him, and you know. But it's the other way around. Because
you know why?
Please break it down.
Men can never picture, when you become my woman, we can never picture you with nobody else. So it's a devastating blow.
But when men cheat, why it's not a devastating blow?
Yeah, to y'all, but you know, we not looking at it like that because we're thinking with the other head at this time.
Yeah, but that's a double standard.
It's not a double standard.
How is that not a double standard? If you cheat, it's devastating, right? If
it's devastating.
If the woman cheats, it's devastating. It's devastating.
But I'm just saying that depends upon the two individuals,
right?
So, like, you know, there's some men that is strong enough in their own masculinity, like, all right, let's work this out. And there's some dudes that's gonna be like this. Nah.
Where the hell is he? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Plenty of fish. I don't know.
I've never seen a guy like that. Oh, you cheated, but you know what? Let's sit down and figure this out. Well, like, what happened? It'll be more likely the woman.
That's all. It's the communication level and how bad he wants you.
No. No.
I'm trying, y'all. You see, I'm trying.
I think it has a lot to do with men and their insecurities, right?
And there's insecure women out there too.
No, listen, I'm just talking about this particular scenario. Like, I think with men with their insecurities and the fact that somebody went into their territory.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It's like no man never wants to picture their woman with nobody else.
Yeah, so if they're not taking care of business.
And as a man, our egos are real fragile. We don't want that to happen. That's why we flip and we see, you know, you was with who? You know, that's why we flip.
And they cheat. So this is the thing. This is the thing I don't get.
That's revenge.
Right?
You know.
That's not okay. When a man when a man cheats, right? Okay, and then he cheated, and he wants her to get over it because he don't want her to keep talking about it. That's one thing. Y'all don't want to hear it. But sometimes
we got it once. We don't want to keep hearing it.
People got to process things, and people process things differently, right?
Yeah.
So it's not enough to just be like, "Oh, well, get over it."
Yeah,
it's not a get over it.
We don't want to hear it a year later.
You want to hear about? Well, if you can't forgive, this is the thing, and this I'm gonna say: if you find yourself in a relationship, you're married, your mate cheated, and if you're not gonna really forgive,
be done.
Get out. Because you know what you're going to do? Number one, you're going to torture yourself every single day. And then the second thing is you're going to torture the hell out of him every single day. So I'm going to say for that situation.
April 31st. This is the day you cheated with me with that bitch. You know.
Oh my God. Anyway, listen, we're going to take a break because we got to pay some bills. And we come back, we're going to talk some more about rather you should stay in the marriage or not. You got kids, you got a house, you got some cars. So don't go anywhere. I'm Serena Goodman. I'm a partner here. Jeff?
Strange.
Hey.
What's going on?
Should you even contemplate marriage if the sex is bad? Oh, you.
I'm saying that to them.
said that
like
question to them.
I was like, now I know why you're single.
Oh,
Okay.
because the sex game was whack.
Hey Jackie, it could be worked out. It all depends on the level of care. See, she's laughing.
That's a lie. You can't go compromise. Listen, the only compromising in that situation is if the person is willing to learn. As a married couple, you can do whatever you want. See? No.
Why not?
But you can't continue to do all these great things, these somersaults in the bed, and you still don't get a ring on the finger.
So you talking about rationing it out, right?
Well, yeah, you got to get a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah.
Would you wife that person?
You just a booty call with girlfriend dreams, huh? Baby, can we? No, my mouth hurt. I'm like, okay.
Wow. It's miserable to go day by day and never getting your needs met. That's like crazy. Who would ever sign up for that? That's like signing up for a death sentence.
Damn.
Now we go into one of our other topics at one point, infidelity. Right? Because it's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Nobody completes me. You understand? I come to the table already complete. You come to the table already complete. And then together, we got like this complete union. That's how it should be.
How do you feel about anal atrocities?
No.
Because the whole thing of marriage, it's a compromise. No matter what it is, it's a compromise. It's about certain things you like and certain things I like, and we complement each other. I didn't know at the time that she was allergic to peanut butter. And I love Reese's peanut butter cups and peanut butter period.
You know what? I thought you was going to go somewhere else.
See, she's still on the anal. Peanut butter.
What the hell? I thought you was going to a whole other subject. And then
I'm getting off of that. And you see what I'm talking about?
All right, so we're back. Mm-hmm. All right, so Jeff, we're going to pick up where we left off. So you're married now. You got some kids, 2.5. Maybe you got one on the way.
I was gonna say,
that's the
what's
0.5.
the 0.5?
The 0.5 is the one in the belly. That's a 0.5. That's one on the way.
Like half a kid?
You got halfway done. And then you got some cars. You got a car, and she got a car, and you got a nice house, and you've accumulated some stuff. You got a joint bank account. You got your own individual bank account. Ladies always have your own bank account, but that's another episode. But always have your own bank account, right? Should you walk away? Should you just say, you know what? That's it. Whatever. I don't care. I start over from scratch again.
That usually happens. Like I was saying before, no man wants to picture their woman with nobody else. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times, like I can only speak for me. It was something missing, and I just wanted, you're not giving me what I want, so it's out. So it's not. It's a lot of times it may not be something personal against you. Why are you making that face? You already
because you're saying like
you asked me my opinion.
Because if it's something that you wanted, why didn't you just have a conversation about?
As time goes on, things change, and something.
Did you have the different conversations?
That's what usually happens when you don't have these conversations.
So you didn't have the conversation.
No.
So you just but things changed. You didn't have the conversation, so you cheated. Was that lust, or was it just because you want to blame it on that something that she didn't even know? Right?
I mean, she may not be doing certain things at home or
like
whatever.
What? She didn't fold up your underwear. What? She didn't roll up your socks. What did she do that made you go out and hump the next one? I mean,
it may be her attitude and the way she talking, the way she treated. It may be a whole lot of different things. There's no one thing you could pinpoint it on. It may be just you wanted that just lustful little thing outside of things. She may do a certain, you find this one girl that just does things that your wife will probably never do.
Like?
See, there you go with the like. It's a bunch of little things.
Come on, we're going to unpack it. We're going to unpack it. So what is it? See, this is, okay, so that's why we come back to the business of marriage, right? Because these conversations have to take place. If these conversations take place, right, when your needs or your wants change and you had that conversation with her, I can understand if you had the conversation, you had it repeatedly, and she just was like, you know what, I just don't want to do it. If she doesn't want to do it, that's a whole nother ball game. And then you did what you did, right? But if you didn't have that conversation, you didn't give her an opportunity to fix anything. This is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well see,
Right?
this is young me that did all this.
We young you, old you, you. It's not just you. It happens every single. Right now, as we speaking right now, somebody cheating.
Of course.
Right now, as we talking,
Goes
right
without
here,
saying.
there's a hotel
Somebody watching us right
on
now like,
Atlantic
word.
Avenue that's jam packed with somebody who's cheating.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah.
Do you think they had a conversation and they told
No.
their mate, I like this, I like that? Do you think they told they had a conversation with their mate, I don't like
No.
that attitude?
There's a story on during 9/11. Man goes out, go to work and everything. He works in the area. It's all over, 9/11 happens all over the news. The wife is at home freaking out and everything else. He comes home back his normal time,
With his
suit
shoes like nothing
clean as hell. He must have been in it all day. Didn't look at the news or nothing.
Oh,
And he comes back home his
God.
normal time. People freaking out the streets. Like, he said, "Honey, you're all right? Yeah, what's the matter?" I said, "Yeah, I went to work. What you talking about?" Oh, and then she switched. "Oh, you went to work, huh?"
Wow.
He said, "Yeah, what's wrong with you?" All she did was turn on the TV.
That's like the ultimate bust. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you get ultimately bust.
And that was totally his fault. You're like,
Yeah.
you know.
So how can what can we tell folks out there, right? That who are in a marriage, they've invested not only their time, their heart, their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got children involved, and someone steps out of the marriage. What do we tell them? Do we tell them no? Do we tell them say goodbye, keep it moving? If he cheated once or she cheated once, they're gonna do it again?
Well, I mean, if you want to believe in that checks and balances kind of thing, like, okay, so you cheat, so now I get a freebie or something like that. That's how some couples are. They want to keep things balanced. Like if you went out and cheated, now I get a hall pass.
That is the most childish.
I said some
revenge
people.
sex thing I've ever heard. It's so ridiculous, and that's the thing is that first of all, you shouldn't even be getting married if you're not adult-like enough to have difficult conversations. Sex, your needs, your wants, that's a difficult conversation. Your finances, a difficult conversation, right? Rather not beforehand if you should have a prenup or not have one. That's a difficult conversation. But they're all necessary conversations.
Yeah.
So if people find themselves in these situations, you got to rewind the tape and know that you played a role in all of that. Not just the cheater, right?
Yeah.
There's some other layers to that. Sometimes people cheat because they just shouldn't have ever gotten married. I mean, it's not even really that
True.
deep. Some
Yeah.
people just have that in them. They like variety. They really don't want to be committed to one person. They like to have sex with different people. They like that interaction with different people. They like the attention from other people. They just shouldn't have gotten married.
Derek Jackson.
Oh, see, now when you naming people, you're saying that.
Y'all know who Derek Jackson is.
Well, we know, but we don't really know. See, this is the thing. We don't really know his story like that. We don't know the backstory. We don't know the backstory.
It's all over the news.
No, we don't know the backstory. See, this is the thing. We know what the news tell us. We know, what they'll allow us to know. But we were never in their bedroom. We've never been there when they had a fight. We've never been there when they had some difficult conversations, right? But we're on the outside, judging, because he said he was He was a guru on relationships. Right?
Yeah, but he was saying all this stuff, with going in on Kevin Hart and all these other.
Because that's what people do. That's what people do. They talk about other people and they say they're an expert in something, but the reality of it is that we're all struggling to try to find our way through this process.
Yeah.
Relationships are not an easy process. But if you have someone like ourselves who are trying to give them a clear pathway to it, you have a better chance.
Yeah.
But you got to have those tough
But you-
conversations. You have to have them. They're necessary conversations. Can your marriage survive infidelity? Yes, it can.
Yeah.
You know why I say it can? Because you have to be able to separate the person from the action.
Exactly.
And if the person is worth you working on that indiscretion that they had, then I say work on the marriage.
Yeah, but depends on the communication level between the two.
Yes, and no, not necessarily. It depends on whether or not they want to work on it. Because sometimes the communication is that big barrier. But if they could get some help, if they could get some counseling.
Well, that's
right?
a big if. You know.
Yeah, because most people it's easier. You know why? Because it's easier to just run. It's easier to just say, "I buy me."
A lot of people will do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody do it. But then we could go back to just history of how they designed this for the families to break up, especially black families to break up. Right? That was it. That was divide and conquer. And now you have a lot of single women households.
Yeah.
Right? And then when a man comes in there, you're not too sure because you've been being a man and a woman all along. Now the man come and you still want to be the man.
Yeah,
and
he's
now
like this.
You are stepped all
Nah.
over his toes. So now he finds somebody else who will allow him
Because
bring his whole self.
that's also the hurt from a past that you make somebody else pay for, which
Yes.
which shouldn't happen.
But there's a lot of pain in there.
Yeah,
and
I
when
get
there's
it.
infidelity in a relationship before marriage or infidelity in a marriage, there's pain. It causes pain to everybody across the board. The person who unless he just is heartless or he or she is heartless, they're in pain because they hurt someone.
Yeah.
But can they survive it? My opinion, you can survive it. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some commitment. It's going to take some dedication to it. But you can.
Marriage is work, period.
Oh yeah, no people. Say that.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. They just want to jump into it. Oh yes, I love you and everything else.
It
but
sounds good.
It's more than that.
It sounds good.
You gotta learn to love them. You gotta like them.
Because there's a possibility that you be with
Somebody that you love and you don't necessarily like them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and this pandemic is showing that out a lot.
Oh yeah,
A lot
you'll
of people.
find it. You'll find it a lot. That's probably a whole nother topic for us. Is what happened during the pandemic. You got an increased divorce rate. People got, in quarantine with people, and they say, "I don't even like you," right? And then they realized that they wasn't able to go out and see their extra person. I don't want to say jump off, but they couldn't see her. So now they stuck in there, and they like, what did I do? And who is this person I married? But the flip side of it for some people, because there's a lot of pandemic babies. So that told me,
damn.
Well,
No, I'm
I
just
say
saying this is the way it
pandemic
sounded
babies,
like.
But that means there's some beautiful life that came out of the pandemic. So I call them the pandemic babies, but they came out of the pandemic. But that meant that some people were still loving each other.
Yeah.
So maybe some people who, because they were always busy with their day, running and ripping and running, now in the pandemic set everything on halt, you got a chance to really laugh with that person and spend some time with that person without the outside forces who are always trying to get into your marriage, right? Because there's a lot of people who want to get into your marriage. They be waiting in the wings,
Nosy
like when you want a show and they waiting in the wings to see if they're gonna get their chance. They just waiting there. Exactly, they waiting for you to make an error. Or one little
They just waiting.
and they right there. And a lot of times those are those exes that never go away because they hoping they get another shot. You already know what I'm talking about, right? And they
It
hoping
just
they
happened to me a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, see, come on, am I good or what?
I'm just saying.
Am I good or what?
Like 20, 30 years ago,
I
it was
am
like
good.
this. Like
I am good at this stuff, people.
I still look at me. Look at that. Yeah, that's nice. Keep your ass on there. Stay on that side of the line. That's the not effing with you section. Stay over there.
Why you even had to say that to her? She didn't know that you was already in a relationship with somebody?
When I mentioned I was already in a relationship, you went on with your agenda.
Oh,
so you
okay.
just bypassed whatever I was talking about. So I already know what you talking about. Like, no, I'm good. Stay over there.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen,
We good.
We could go on and on and on about this. So we're gonna continue this topic again because I think we need to come on and we need some people to like ask us some good questions and stuff. I want some good old questions to come out too. So right, so we're gonna come back to this. Just understand when it comes to the business of marriage, it's you bring your business to the table and he gonna bring his business to the table. The question is, do you want to merge your company with his company? And if the answer is no, then you already know what to do. So we're going to come back again next week, Sunday at 7 p.m. Join us again for the business of marriage. To death do us part. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
it.